Hello, everybody. I'm going to do a very quick live today about the book Congo. I know that most of you guys are still with Mr. Real Estate on his live, and that's absolutely fine. I just want to at least get this live for myself done, and that way I can go back to his live. So I don't take it personally if you guys are still there with him. You guys are more than welcome to catch this live on the replay. It's absolutely fine. So I'm just gonna also go and link his live to this video as well. And I see quite a few people in the community are live as well. I see that Knowledge and Relationship, Jedi Mike, and Black's Tropical Homestead are all live, and so is Real Talk with Melissa Berrien. Oh, Blessed Child has ended her live. We have Uncle Stu that is live. So quite a lot of us are busy tonight. It is Friday night, and I see a Backlash Fisherman is also live as well. So I'm not expecting 1,001 people. Oh, and I see What Can I Change is live. So it's absolutely fine if there are not as many people here as I normally would expect. Da, 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 da. Let's just put that in. And that. There we are. I'm gonna get to my own channel here. Give me a second, guys. I'll be right with you. It won't be long. Just want to make sure I'm going into my own. Here we are. Here we are. There we go. Alrighty. So, tonight's is going to be, of course, the book review about Michael Crichton's book Congo. Okay. And like I said, tonight is just going to be a very, very quick, nothing in depth, as I normally do. You guys know me. I usually do several, hours or at least a good half an hour, 45 minutes. We'll get into it really, really quickly tonight because I know that a lot of you are going to be live on other people's channels. So I don't want to just be talking for the sake of talking. So, Michael Crichton's book Congo came out in the early 1980s. I read it when I was maybe 14, 12, 13, something like that. So I had been out for a good 10 years at this time. So I see that it came out originally in 1980. And basically, it's a sci fi book where these scientists that need diamonds to create high tech satellites that allow them to communicate lose one of their teams that go into the deep forest of, you guessed it, the Congo, to find the diamonds that they need. And of course, the team that were surveilling them and making sure that they were good, of course, have to go in to find out what happened to the team. And of course, they get into trouble. Of course, nothing new about that. So basically, what the team does, and I'm not going to, by intention, I'm not going to give out the names as I usually do. I love the book personally, and the movie unfortunately did not do it justice. And ironically, it's what I normally don't like revamp movies, but this is one of the few where I think, especially with what they could do now, it would be a good movie to redo it and to start from scratch and kind of pretend like that movie didn't never happened. But basically, the new team goes into the jungle and tries to find out what happens to the original team. But because they're concerned, the government, because the Congo at this time was in great war, there was a civil war, lots of conflict. The government isn't like, here in Canada or the US. They're very corrupt. There's a lot of corrupt officials, police officers, etc. Um, They knew that they couldn't, come out and be truthful about why they were going to the Congo. And on top of that, of course, they had the typical company espionage, and making sure that their rival companies did not know what they had and where they were at and what they were capable of, etc. So there's a lot of secrets and trying to hide, and subterfuge, essentially. So of course, they have to go into the Congo, uh, under disguise, right? They can't just say, "Yeah, we're looking for big diamonds that will help us do this." Use this tech that would help with communications and would make communicating with somebody on the other side of the planet quicker and easier. Again, guys, this is a movie that was, a book, I should say, that came out in 1980. So this is pre cell phone. Internet wasn't a thing, at least not for us civilians. I think it was something in the military that was being used, but as far as the everyday in your home, the internet was not around. So, of course, you can imagine cell phones were not a thing, tablets were not a thing. This was not the everyday life items. Okay. So, of course, any kind of tech that could improve the speed of communication, the quickness of it, can make it so that you would have potentially devices in your pockets that could help you talk to somebody kilometers away, would be a good thing, right? So, um, so I'm just going on Mr. Real Estate just to, there we go, take care of his bots while I'm talking to you guys. Um, so yeah, so we want to make sure that, of course, they wanted to make sure that the tech was available to make quick and easy communications, not only for us as a day to day, but of course, especially for the companies. Um, so the loss of this team was very important, but they knew they just couldn't walk into the country. So what they did was use, like I said, subterfuge. What was the subterfuge? They decided, well, there's this zoologist who has a gorilla that he rescued when she was a baby, and raised the gorilla, and wanted to make sure to take care of it in the zoo. And he was teaching the gorilla sign language in the hopes that, as well, that the gorilla would teach the sign language to other gorillas, and thus not only be able for humans to communicate with gorillas, but for gorillas to communicate with human beings. So the communications company decided, we're going to use this as the subterfuge, because that guy wanted to bring the gorilla into the wild and hopefully study what would happen if you brought a gorilla that was raised in captivity and knew sign language, and brought it to the real world, to its natural habitat, and taught hopefully other gorillas how to use sign language, right? So, of course, the zoologist did not know this. He was out of the loop, right? And it was really the communications company. Now, what happened is, of course, you see them traveling from the U.S. to the Congo, and really some of the difficulties to get into Congo and really be able to continue and find out what's going on with their. Hello, Chaos Rain. How you doing? So happy to see you here. Thank you for your support. Sorry I didn't see you. I was also paying attention. I'm also trying to, while I'm doing my live, I'm trying to also support other people's lives, and I'm also technically moderator on another channel. Don't tell them that I'm live. It's our secret. Shh. But yeah, so obviously, you see in the movie that they're, a whole adventure of them trying to go from the US into the Congo. Hello, Black Money Corp. Thank you for being here. I'm doing very well, thank you, and I hope you're also doing very well tonight. So I'm going to do, it's a fairly quick summary. I'm doing a book review of the Congo. I'm intentionally not going into great details. I'm not mentioning character names. just because I want you guys. Hopefully, I'm going to entice. I'm trying to do things a little bit different. I know that yesterday I was explaining some of the frustrations that I have with YouTube. So I'm trying to hopefully entice you guys into reading the book and then coming back for more reviews from me. Hopefully this works. But please, guys, if you want me to go into details in in upcoming videos, please let me know. So yeah, so the team now has to go into the Congo and find the original team that was lost there and try to find an explanation as to what happens. They of course have to use bribes, bribe the officials, the guards, and they managed to get in through the skin of their neck, and they basically even had to run when they were at the Congo airport into the plane, pretty much losing some of the equipment because literally war was like breaking out as they were speaking, basically. Um, so they get to the part of the Congo jungle as close that as they can, because I don't know if you guys know what a jungle is. I'm pretty sure you guys do, but you can't just walk up at any point, right? There's certain parts that, like, if you want to get in the middle of a jungle, it's going to take you a few days, maybe even a few weeks, depending on what jungle you're talking about. So they get to as close as they can, but of course, they know that they have to have the right guide, and they have to deal with, of course, the local tribes and so forth. And again, that takes bribing people, it takes knowing different languages and so forth. And at one point, they get close to where they need to be for them to be able to find the original location of their original team. But that's when the tribes people and many of the employees that they were helping them to get where they needed to go said, you know what? No, 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 we're not going any further. The land is cursed. Whoa. So of course we find out later in the movie that, well, it's not really cursed, but the fear of the land is definitely understandable. Okay. Um, they give a whole backstory of bad things happen, and this is not the place that you want to be. And one of the characters shows that, in fact, the reason why he agreed to come along was that he heard that there was this temple there in this part of the jungle that houses uh, these large diamonds, these extravagant diamonds, but they had these special warriors that were guarding the land. And that's why the land is actually cursed. Not that it was all these ghosts and hooga boogas and all of that, right? So, um, of course, they all find out that that curse actually is true, and that the guards are actually gray back uh, gorillas, and extra large ones too. And that, yes, there is a treasure in the temple, but it's being guarded by these gorillas. Now, of course, they managed to discover this, but save themselves for the most part, the good guys at least. The zoologist does leave behind the gorilla. She now has integrated herself into a new pride, and they, of course, you know, leave in the sunset, as you can imagine. So that's a very basic summary of the book. Like I said, I intentionally left out the names and left out a lot of the story because I do want you guys to be able to go and read the book. I did enjoy the book overall. I didn't like the movie, but it was a movie made, I think, in the 1990, 91, something like that. The book really um, was very intriguing. Um, Overall, I like Michael Crichton books. For me, a lot of his books are sci-fi gone wrong, right? So a lot of it, he's the one who wrote Jurassic Park, for instance, right? So a lot of his books really are in that vein of Science is great and fantastic until until something happens, right? He also wrote the book Sphere, that was also turned into a movie. I believe that there was Timeline as well. But yeah, a lot. He's best known, like I said, for Jurassic Park. But he also wrote the original, I think, or he was a producer and or writer on ER when it first came out. So you can thank him for George Clooney, because as you guys know, George Clooney made his acting debut in, or his big hit, because I think he was technically in other things before, but he really came out on ER. But I like the book because it had that slow build to the storyline, right? You really did not see the animals coming around, and that the enemy, quote unquote, would be a gorilla. Basically, it wasn't something that you saw coming. Now, I even though I just said, oh, science sci-fi gone wrong. I mean, in this case, it's not necessarily sci-fi in the sense of uh, like Jurassic Park, where the animals are genetically engineered, right? You obviously scientists are bringing dinosaurs to life, right? In here, it's more um, the the quote unquote science, and I use the term loosely. It's really more about the fact that these gorillas were bred to be that aggressive. They were bred to be larger, and they were trained to defend the land, right? They didn't just decide, okay, we're going to be like this, right? So you kind of see how, with human interference, how things can go wrong, can go awry. And I always like that kind of thing. That for many of us, we kind of forget that as much as we can help nature, as much as we can help ourselves and grow and better, we kind of need to know when to stop, and when, okay, you know what, let's leave this as it is. It's good enough, it's okay. The animals seem to be fine on their own, right? And for those of you that know a little bit of the history of Australia, that was kind of a lot of the problems that they had with Mother Nature, quote unquote, was due to human interference, right? They brought cats, and then the cats got wild and killed a lot of the local animals, and then they brought in another animal to kill the cats, and all this stuff, right? When, if nobody brought those animals to begin with, they wouldn't have had all these problems, right? So sometimes we as human beings don't always know that, hey, you know what, let's leave things alone here. Let's you know let things be as they are, right? um let's see what else. I also like the fact that there was that sense of subterfuge, right? That everybody's keeping secrets from each other, right? The zoologist doesn't know that he's basically just the cover story. He truly believes that these other individuals want to help him and bring this his gorilla to the jungle. The communications company doesn't know that one of their employees that they hired is there to discover this treasure. um, all these people don't know. Most of these people don't know that, hey, there was these gorillas in the story and all that. So there's always something hidden underneath. So there's that sense of it's almost a detective story almost, right? So I really like that idea as well. So um, yeah, it's really fun, that story. What else do I like about that book? Hmm. Because I'm also, it's been a little bit since I've read it too, so I'm doing this partly on my memory. Um, but no, and I like the fact that unlike most. Hello, hello, before the billions. Comment ça va? I hope you're doing well. This is going to be a fairly quick one. I'm nearly done this live. I just want to. I had scheduled it, and I didn't want to reschedule. I know there's quite a few people that are live, so I just wanted to get it done and then get back to supporting other people. But thank you, Bill for the Billions, for being here and supporting me while I am here. But yeah, what the other thing that I like about the book Congo, so I'm reviewing very quickly before the Billions, the book Congo by Michael Crichton. One of the other things that I like is that a lot of times when you have the protagonist woman meet the protagonist guy, oftentimes they end up they fight at first, and who are you to do this, who are you, da, 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 da. And then some point they just quote unquote magically fall in love. None of that happened in this book. I might that might be one of the few girls that's like, I love that. I don't want you know, oh let's see who, yeah, Mr. Real Estate ended his life. Okay, that's weird. All right. I didn't know that he ended it. All right. That's too bad. I was about to end mine and go back to him. Okay, but he ended his life. But yeah, I love the fact that you know, they didn't turn this into a love story between the two of them. And oh look, it's a happily ever after, and isn't it wonderful? They're gonna get married and have kids. Isn't it beautiful? It's like, come on, just you know, I'm watching this movie to see the gorillas, to see, you know, them going through the jungle, and you know, who's gonna come out alive and all that. I don't, you know, if I wanted a love story, I would just go to a rom-com, you know. I don't need, I don't, you know, keep your rom-com hands out of my, you know, sci-fi horror movies, please, you know. I don't need any of that in my shows, in my movies, please. um but yeah, that's pretty much a lot of the stuff that I like about the book. But it was, you could see also that it was the precursor to Jurassic Park, right? Like I said before, it's in this book you had that idea of mankind trying to control nature, with gorillas being not necessarily genetically modified the way we understand it, but more bred into what they are now. And of course, how nature, because this was a village inside the jungle, how nature can overtake, right? Because obviously, after a while, the humans were no longer there, and literally, the temple was overgrown by the jungle, but the gorillas stayed there and protected it. And at one point, they just took over and became these mythical guards that everybody was afraid of, because of course the human beings weren't there for several generations. Hello, hello, Shattered Games. How you doing? I'm glad to see you. Oh, I know, of course. Wait, Shattered Star Games. Sorry about that. I'm glad to have you here. This was going to be a really, really quick live Shattered Star game, so don't worry. I am technically nearly done, but I'm glad that you're here for a few minutes. I was going to go back to Mr. Real Estate's live, but he ended it. I'm not too sure why. But my live isn't going to be much longer. I just wanted to give a quick book review. I reviewed, or am reviewing technically, the book Congo by Michael Crichton. Okay, just so that I don't know your knowledge on books, but he's the one who wrote the book that made the movie Jurassic Park. Okay. Um, Hello, hello, Yen. How are you? I'm so glad that you're here. Thank you for being here. My live is nearly done, Yen. Okay, this isn't going to be one of those big long ones. But I'm glad that you're here and that you're spending a few minutes. Oh, you read the book, Congo. Oh, that's fantastic. Tell me what you thought of it. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you see the movie Shattered Star Games? I don't know if you know that there's a movie based on the book as well, by of course the same name. But tell me what you think about it. I definitely would like to know what your thoughts are, and if anybody else read the book Congo, or maybe read the book Jurassic Park or what have you. Let me know what you guys think about it. But overall, I personally liked the book. I didn't, you know, I was so on the movie, although I saw the movie much later. And of course, now when you're rewatching the movie, you can kind of see that it's a woman in a puppet for the monkey, or gorilla, I should say. And the CGI wasn't the best, and of course the tech, really, it was really technology of late 80s, early 90s. Oh, you saw the movie too? Great. But yeah, let me know what you think about it, Shattered Star Games. I'd definitely like to hear your opinion on it. But yeah, I mean, I definitely loved the book a lot more than I'd liked the movie. And I was saying before Shattered Star Games that I think honestly the movie is one of the few movies that I think I would be happy if they redid it. Like most of the times, most of the movies that come out in the 80s and 90s, I'm like, you know what, leave it alone. Just leave it alone. There are few exceptions, and I think Congo and the Sphere could actually do with a remake and a revamp of it. Jurassic Park, I'm glad that they went the route that they went, where they went with Chris Pratt, where it was much more of a continuation of the original rather than revamping it, right? Rather than making it into its remaking it kind of thing and retelling the whole story from scratch, right? Sort of that's my criticism with some of the Marvel movies, especially Spider-Man, where it seems to be rebooted, and it's like, just like, just move on with the story. Just, like, yes, I'd rather you just cast another actor and pretend like, like this was the guy who was part of the movie from the get-go, and just move on to the next step. Yet how many times do we have to see Uncle Ben pass away? Please, poor guy, leave him alone. Like, I'm sure some of you have seen those memes where it's like, oh, here we go again. Uncle Ben is going to pass away. Poor guy. Right. So, but yeah, I mean, for me, Congo is one of those that, what? Let's reboot it. Let's pretend that that movie never happened. It's okay. Let's sweep that one on the rug. We'll take one for the team and pretend like it never happened, right? Just it's okay. Let's ignore it. Let's ignore it. We'll forgive Michael Crichton. It wasn't his fault. It wasn't his fault. But yeah, I mean, but now, of course, these days, I don't know what the interest would be. Um, for me personally, I find Michael Crichton was one of those authors that, unlike Stephen King, because I started reading, I mean, Stephen King and Michael Crichton became popular at about the same time, give or take. Stephen King is one of those that he's a beloved author no matter what. While as Michael Crichton, I think unless you grew up in the 80s or 90s, I doubt that you would really like his content nowadays. I don't see kids these days reading his books and being fascinated by it and loving it and, oh, this is awesome, this is crazy, wow, it's fantastic. They might like the movies Jurassic Park, but even then I think they would probably like the Chris Pratt Jurassic Park movies rather than the original Jurassic Parks, right? Um, Michael Crichton definitely was a representative of uh, science fiction of the 1980s and 90s, right? At least that's my thoughts. Um, but pretty much that's what I have to say about Congo and my review of it. Um, let's see. Let's see who else is on live right now. So we have Real Talk with Melissa Berrien. That's still live at the moment. And we have What Can I Change? That's also still live. Let's see who else is live. Yeah, Knowledge and Relationship is still live. Uncle Stu is live technically, but it looks like he might be ending soon. And who else? Who else is live? We have Backlash Fisherman, that's also live for anybody who wants to go ahead and support him. And let's see. Oh, Jedi Mike 7 is still live technically as well. And is that Zan the Man who's live? Oh, no, I opened up a second tab for relationships, so that one I'll close. Oh, and Black's Tropical Thunder, Black's Tropical Homestead is still live as well. So that's always good to know. So I will be in one of those lives, guys. I'll be running around back and forth in those ones. So I hope to see you guys there. That's pretty much my review for the movie, or sorry, for the book Congo. I hope you guys like this. And for those who missed it, please feel free to catch me in the replay. So have a great night. Thank you, Shattered Star Games. Thank you, Yen Abigail. Thank you. Um, thank you, Chaos Rain. And thank you, Black Money Corp, for being here. Yeah, they did change quite a few things. Shattered Games. Some of the things, like you said, for the ending, yeah, it kind of felt a lot like it was, hey, look at a happy Disney ending and all that. And with the book, sorry, for the with the book, it really came off a lot more brutal and a lot more bloody, but of course they wanted to keep the movie much more PG, right? So they left out quite a bit. And even for Jurassic Park, a lot of what was in Jurassic Park 2 was in the original, right? And it was a lot more bloody as well, unfortunately. But I hope to those guys who haven't read the book, I hope that you guys will look at my book review for tonight and read the book for yourself or listen to the audio book. So that's it for me, guys, tonight. Thank you very much for being here, guys. And I do hope that you guys enjoyed my review and that you guys will go out there and read the book. So that's it for me. Thank you guys for being here. And I hope to see you guys in the live streams of one of the people that I mentioned. I hope they're all good content creators. They're all great to follow. So I'll repeat it again. We have Black's Tropical Homestead that's still live. We have Real Talk with Melissa Berrien that's still live. We have What Can I Change? That's still live. We have Knowledge and Relationship. Oh, no, Knowledge and Relationship also. They ended their live, so we're going to close that down now. We have Jedi Mike that is live. Backlash Fisherman, who is live. Uncle Stu is still going. And that's it for all the people that I regularly follow that are still live. So you guys are more than welcome to go to one of theirs or do whatever that you feel on YouTube. Thank you guys for spending some time with me tonight. And I hope you guys enjoyed this little quick review of the book Congo by Michael Crichton. Merci, au revoir. Bye, guys. Have a great night. Sleep tight and don't let the bed bugs bite. So let's just end this. Have a good one, guys. Bye.